All right. I think we're recording. All
Okay.
right, ladies. I just wanted to kind of come to you all with some fun for Ladies Alive. As you all know, it's coming up in September, which it's going to be August tomorrow. So September is really right around the corner. And I wanted to bring in Angela here with you all too. If you can see her face on your screen right now, I don't even know. So new to this Zoom thing. But what I wanted to do for you is I am going to announce an incentive, and it's just for our team. It's just for you lovely ladies, because I want to just bring something to you that's going to reward you for bringing ladies into this amazing culture, and also motivate you to do that, because I know that it's one thing to get ourselves to Ladies Alive. Like, that's our number one thing. We need to get there. If you've been there before, you know how great of an event it is. For those of you who have not been there, I'm probably way, way more excited for you than you can ever imagine. I would be, just because I know what it's all about. I'm sure you've heard people talk about Success School before, and that being really this huge event for Advocare, and so, inspiring and so necessary for training. But I really feel that Ladies Alive is the number one event for women. Just to, as you all know, like, we need women that lift us up. We're in this society of comparison, and this society of like, oh, look what she's doing, I want that, or look, I can never do what she's doing, and so on. But Ladies Alive just shows you the culture of Advocare for women. So we need to get there for ourselves, and I'll let Angela talk a little bit more about that whole aspect. But I also know that all of you who are on this have expressed to me that you want to earn income with Advocare, and you want Advocare to be a vehicle that is able to help your family, whether it be with bills, whatever it may be, different things. And in order for you to go beyond just yourself getting there and to earn income for your family, is you need to begin inviting people and bringing people into these events. It's the success system. We talk about it. It's the one-on-one, right? And then we get to mixers, and then we go around it, and there's large events, and that's huge. And this is I think, the largest event for women. So we need to get people there to inspire them, to let them see the heartbeat of Advocare, and get them to just see what they can be part of. So what I have for you all is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share what the incentive is, so that you know what you can run for here. And I did something that is going to be, I think, very achievable, something that you can do in steps. So kind of like we have, the Champions Pathway, where you can earn 100 and 100 and then another 200 just by reaching like small steps and building up. That's how we did it here. So let me share. All right, so you should be able to see my screen right now. So this is going to be a tracker that I am going to send to each of you who are going to run for this. So you need to reach out to me. You need to let me know if this is something you're going to go for. And then you can literally put the name of the people that you're going to reach out to, and it tracks. You contacted them. You actually personally invited them. So that's one big thing. And Angela and I can talk a little bit later about some tips for inviting people. But you need to verbally invite people and really sell Ladies Alive. And then following up with them, of course, and once they're registered. So, of course, not all of these people are going to register, but the goal is to invite more and more and more so that a few do. So the first thing that I have here is, if you get 3 ladies to come to Ladies Alive with you and register, you get this amazing t-shirt that says, I am enough. Because you are enough. As a woman, you are enough. Everything is within you that you need. So also to believe in yourself that you can do this. But this amazing t-shirt will be yours if you get 3 ladies to come to Ladies Alive with you. Or it can be a different location too. So if you have people that are in Florida or Arizona, like Angela's down in Arizona, you're gonna, Advocare's culture. Like, you can feel, you can trust Advocare in knowing that if you send someone to a different location, that they're going to be filled up and taken care of while they're there. So you don't necessarily need to be there at that location with them. Um, 5 ladies, you'll get a $50 gift card to the Advocare apparel store. And there's actually going to be brand new items at the Ladies Alive events. They're going to have Advocare stores there. So you should, I believe, 100%, well, maybe 99.9% that you should be able to use this gift card while you're there to purchase some of the new items. And then the grand prize, because if you can get 3, then you can get 5, right? Because that's only 2 more. And then if you can double that, if you can get 10 ladies to Ladies Alive, we have this amazing camo tote that is on the Advocare apparel store. I found this really, I think it's super cute bracelet that says enjoy the journey, because as you know, through Advocare, it can be a journey. But if you embrace it and you enjoy it, it is beautiful. And a blender bottle and some bracelets, because of course those are things to help wear your colors to help grow your business even more. So that is what I have for the incentives, for the gifts, and I think each and every one of you that are listening to this can totally achieve them. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take dedication, but it's possible. And once you do that work, the people that get there are going to love it. So you don't have to be afraid of them not enjoying it, right? They're going to love it. And in fact, I was thinking about it today. I've been in way too many events where I've gotten there and I'm like, oh, I wish so-and-so was there, or I wish so-and-so was there. And I'm just beating myself in the head like, why did I not invite them? And I don't want you ladies to be doing that when you're there in September. So invite people now so you're not regretting it later when you're there. So I'm going to pass it over to Angela so she can kind of share her heart about Ladies Alive.
Absolutely. Are you going to take the thing down?
I can, yeah.
Okay. If I want to point back to it, I'll
just let me know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, thanks, ladies, for taking the time to watch this. Jill and I have been in conversation over the last probably week and a half about coming up with something really great to do as far as an incentive. And here's why we do an incentive. Is to really, it isn't because, giving gifts is awesome, but we want to help you to understand the importance of getting women there to Ladies Alive with you. And I'm trying to think like the best way. So the women that Jill has talked to me about, that you guys that are watching this, she says, have all expressed a desire to build an Advocare business, to earn income for whatever reason that is. Maybe you have debt, or maybe you want to, get home with kids, or just some spending money, or maybe you have aspirations to really change the financial scheme of your household, whatever it is, because Advocare can do all of those things on whatever level. If those are any of the things that you've expressed with a desire in Advocare, Ladies Alive is a non-negotiable. So number one, you have to have your tickets. You have to be going. It's a non-negotiable. You cannot look Jill in the face, or anybody else in the world of Advocare, or your family even, that you've said, okay, let's do this. You can't look them in the eye and say, I want to do this, but I'm not making it to Ladies Alive, just because it doesn't mesh. It is that important of an event. And I'm going to share a little bit of why that is. If you've been, like Jill says, it's a no-brainer. I mean, there's never been a lady that's gone to Ladies Alive that said, oh, that was a waste of my time. It just doesn't happen. Any lady that goes there, the first thing they do is they share with everybody how amazing of an event it is. Why do you want women in the room with you? Because that is going to grow your business. One, that is one reason. And if that's what you have a desire to do, let Ladies Alive do the work for you. You just do the work of getting the women in the room. The event will take care of the rest. And two, most people, the culture of Advocare, which Jill talked about, which you see so loud and beautiful at Ladies Alive, is something you want for your friends and family, because that's who we end up reaching out to, is those people that are closest in our lives. So if you truly love people, and I always feel like if you're somebody that is here in Advocare, it's because you love people. If you truly love people, you're doing your friends and family a disservice if you aren't inviting them to Ladies Alive, because this can be a life-changing event. And I just know for so many women, even if you bring a woman and she never does anything with AdvoCare, I guarantee she's going to look back on this event and say how pivotal it was in maybe just overcoming a fear or understanding that she is enough, or coming home and just being a better mom to her kids because she realizes we all struggle and she's not a failure. And whatever that is, you are going to add value to whoever you want to bring. But the beautiful thing about Ladies Alive is when you bring them into that event, not very many of them walk away and say, I don't want anything to do with AdvoCare. I mean, some women just say it's not my right time. You know, I've shared a story like a million times. I have a friend named Liz Blum. Her and I met in 7th grade, have been best of friends for years and years and years. So when a ladies event came, when I first started AdvoCare, I was probably about a year in. So this would have probably been about 2003. You know, I invited my best friends to go with me. It was a girls' weekend. I paid for the hotel. It was awesome. And I remember her coming, and I remember thinking, oh, she is so the right person for AdvoCare. She's a dietitian, nutrition, fitness. Her whole career has been built around helping others. Plus, she was a new mom, and I know she was trying to transition to be a stay-at-home mom and what that looked like for their family. So I bring her, and I remember her saying she was just very impressed with everything she saw, but it wasn't the right time. Come around 8 years later, it took me, you know, every time we got together, she'd ask me more because she remembered how much she loved it and how good she felt in that environment. It just wasn't the right time for her. But then she ended up coming around eight years later, and she can still look back at that like that was her first exposure to an incredible culture that now she's a Ruby distributor in AdvoCare, changing tons and tons and tons of lives. So you just never know what's going to happen for those that you want to invite. And, you know, who doesn't want to? I saw that T-shirt that Jill put up, and I thought, wouldn't that be an awesome T-shirt? I want to wear that T-shirt to my ladies event. Ladies Alive out here. That stuff is great. Yeah. So I gotta get my little tracker. And I love the tracker because I'm a visual person. To have that in front of me and to know I'm taking the steps of putting them down on the list and then making that contact with them and then following up and then being able to check off registered and being able to show Jill, this is what I've done. And just being able to be in that room with these ladies, because exactly what Jill said is if you don't, you will be sitting there like, oh my goodness, I was going to call so-and-so. She should have been here, because you're going to hear something that your friend needed to hear. You're going to hear something that your sister needed to hear. You know, your coworker, you know that they could have heard something that would have changed their life. And also, like, you've been trying to tell them how good AdvoCare is, and had they heard it at Ladies Alive, it would be a no-brainer and they would be in. So the importance of inviting, yes, it is very important to have yourself in the room. And if you do show up and it's only you, it is a win that your butt is in the seat at Ladies Alive. But if you have others along with you, you will not believe what it will do for your business. I'm just going to share a little bit of what another Ladies Alive, and this was a very pivotal point for me, just to kind of give you a visual of what it can do by just reaching out and going out of your comfort zone and inviting a few people. And I love that, Jill. I mean, her and I talked about it. We didn't want to make it so far out of reach that you were going to count yourself out. I hope that you see how incredible it is. Like, I just have to reach out to a few people. Now, if I was you, I'd go gangbusters, because the faster you want to grow your business, the more people you want to have at Ladies Alive. But my husband and I started AdvoCare in 2002. And when we started on products, fell in love with the products, and then once we understood what we really had our hands on, and most of that came from getting to a bigger event. So the power of being in a room, we had our friend Terry that kept saying, you need to go, you need to go, you need to go. And I remember the first big event that was closest to us when we were living in Toma, Wisconsin. Nobody knew about AdvoCare in Wisconsin, hardly. And there was an event going to be in Owatonna, Minnesota. So that was a hike. my husband and I were both working full-time jobs. I worked 50 to 60 hours. He worked 60 to 70, but we made sure that we were able to go that night. We got home very late, had to get up and go to work the next morning. But our friend Terry, who introduced us to Advocare, kept saying, you just have to be in the room. You just have to be in the room. And we thought, well, we might as well just go find out if this is, and Joe had a check, Gloria had a check. There were like some people in there that we had seen in the magazines and just had these amazing stories. And I kind of had to just go see if that's for real. You know, at that time they were making 40 grand a month. And I'm like, is that even real? These people are, you know, it just didn't seem even possible to me. But it was being in that room that I saw people walk across the stage. And one, I heard stories of something that appealed to me. You know, they talked about debt freedom. They talked about getting home with their kids. I didn't even know at that time in my life that there was anything even out there that could make that a possibility in our life. So going to that event made me understand that it's there. I just have to commit and go after it. The second thing that happened was I saw that these people were relatable. I quit counting myself out. When I was reading a magazine and saw pictures in there, they were great stories, but I kept thinking, well, that's not me. Are they like me? That's not, you know, but when I saw these people, I'm sorry, that's our doorbell. When I saw people walking across stage that I thought, you know, these are women that I can relate to. I could put myself in that position and feel like I had a place here at Advocare. So it was a big event that made all the difference in the world to us. So from about 2002 to about 2004, you know, my husband and I had locked arms to build an Advocare business. I mean, full committed. And, you know, I went to every event, every success school, every ladies event. I was inviting people. We had grown our business to, I think we were Ruby 6-star at that point in time in 2004. And then I had my first baby. And, oh, lots of sounds going on. This is real life. This is how you can do Advocares, right from your home, with all the chaos going on. So early 2005, I had our first child, and he ended up having like some crazy food allergies, like got extremely sick. It took us forever to figure out what was wrong with him. So for a few years, because then we had our daughter shortly after that, she had the same issues. And so I missed, so leaving them with somebody I just felt like was, because it was life-threatening stuff. So I kind of pulled back. Like I quit going to big events. I remember I would do some phone calls, and, you know, I had 3 babies in less than 4 years. So I was like immersed in managing their allergies and just trying to keep them protected, because I was fearful they were going to go over to a sitter's house and eat something off the floor and end up in the ER or worse. So so a few years there, I wasn't that engaged with Advocare. That was just the reality of it. But, you know, I was still 100% committed. I did everything in my power to make sure my husband was at every event. And we just kind of understood this was the season of our life. 2008, I remember, you know, we had worked through the allergy stuff. I mean, I feel God healed our children, because it was miraculous how they were able to work through and completely outgrow these issues. And I started to feel some freedom. And I remember thinking, okay, it's my time to get back. But I had felt so removed because my face hadn't been part of our Advocare business for a long time. And there were a couple new women that had kind of joined our organization. One was a mom we had met at T-Ball, and another one was the wife to, if you know Brandon and Jenny LaRue, it was Jenny LaRue. And my JP and Brandon had become good friends. I think I had never even met Jenny. But a Ladies Alive was coming. And I hadn't been to a ladies event in years. And so I felt so like out of place, like being the one to invite these women, because they hadn't hardly heard from me at this point in time. But I just knew if I didn't get them in the room, I was going to miss out on what they could see Advocare could be. So I reached out to Jenny LaRue, who is now one of my absolute best friends, but I didn't even know her. And I reached out and I had to tell her, you have to be in the room. You have to be in the room. I poured my heart. I got over the uncomfortableness. Then the other girl, her name was Amy, she told me she couldn't afford to go. And I said, I will drive. I will pay for your hotel room. You have to be in the room. And in a way, I knew I needed to be in the room because I hadn't been there for so long. But I got these two women in the room. I remember I brought one of my other best friends with, who's been a loyal product user for 16 years. But getting those two women in the room, it was pivotal. One of them, Brandon and Jenny LaRue, grew to a diamond distributorship, and she will always go back to, one, the phone call that I made. Even before Ladies Alive, it was the phone call I made to her. She would have known how nervous I was. I just laugh about it. It was really hard. And she kept saying, you got to call her, you got it. And I'm like, no. And I finally picked up the phone. And then she drove by herself and met me at the Ladies Alive event. The other woman also became one of my best friends, but went on to build a Ruby distributorship, both star legs in our organization. Amazing, because I got them in the room. Then that Amy, I think it was the next Ladies Alive, she ran for an incentive where it was the one with the most frontline people that they brought to Ladies Alive won. I can't remember. It was like $500. It was a big thing, but you had to have like 12 or more. And she ended up bringing 18 women. And she's a go-getter. I always say that she's one of those that she's got to win everything, Christmas lights and all that stuff. But that's just her personality. And that changed their lives to a point that now they just moved out to Florida, and just the career paths they were able to take, the freedom. I mean, it's just unreal what it was able to do. And that was because I invited them to a Ladies Alive event. So if you, and Brandon and Jenny LaRue, if Jenny hadn't come alongside her husband, it wouldn't look the same for them as it does now. Now they're stay-at-home parents to 3 children. They have a special needs little girl that they've been able to be there every single day with that little girl for PT and all. I mean, it's just, you never know what your invite is going to lead to. So don't ever count anybody out. You have to get over yourself and your uncomfortableness if you really want to make this work. And you have to love people enough to want them to be in the room with you. So I love that Jill has released this incentive, because it just gives you a little, you should be inviting anyway, but it's her way of saying, this is how important it is to get yourselves and bring others with you. If you do nothing else right in Advocare, if you say the wrong thing, get somebody started on the wrong products, all sorts of the wrong things that we can do, because I've done them all, but we've always gotten people in the room with us. We got them to Success School. I've gotten women to Ladies Alive. That has been what has sustained us for years, through the years that we were doing it so wrong before we started to figure out how to kind of get this thing done. So I can't stress enough, Jill, of how important that, and that I love that Jill is sending it to you women by the idea that what I felt about my friends of, I loved them enough to get them in the room, is how she feels about you. It isn't just, I just want to get more women in the room. Yes, is Jill doing something for her family? Absolutely. But she knows that you have told her that you want more out of Advocare. So she knows that in order for you to get more out of Advocare, you have to invite women and get women in the room with you. It's going to be a frustrating uphill battle to get them to go, but you just have to lay your heart out. And I've just always said, you will never regret it. Yeah. And if you want to be as bold as I tell women all the time, I'm like, if you go and you regret going, I will just refund your ticket. And if you bought lunch, I'll refund your lunch or dinner. I've never had to refund money. I've gotten thank yous, and I've just heard the stories of building off of what that invite, what getting to that event has meant. So yeah, that's what I got as far as
thank you.
Trying to Yes, how important it is.
Yeah.
And run for this incentive. It is so achievable. It
Yeah.
is so achievable. And even if it's just, I remember getting women to events just by saying, just do me this solid. Just, I'm running for this. I want to have women there with me in the room. I want to not look like I didn't try. Just come with me.
Yeah.
And it is amazing that some will, and just a lot of them have caught the vision just through doing me a favor as a good friend.
Yeah. And you know how
Literally.
many like moms or just women in general, like we yearn for a good culture of women. Like we
Yes.
all want that. So that's what I love about Ladies Alive. Like it's an Advocare event. It definitely is. You know, once you get there, you're going to learn about products, you're going to hear stories and stuff like that. But it is, like Angela was saying, like it's one that just helps women in their day to day, and that's honestly how I sell Ladies Alive to people. Is it's a woman's night away, right? Because we're gonna get a hotel down in South Bend. We are going to enjoy each other's company. We're gonna go out for dinner. We are just gonna, if anything, like you're getting a girls' night out, right? And for a very cheap price, actually, because it's only $33 for a ticket. So, but just letting them know of like just surrounding themselves with that culture and just being able to meet other women. And I was thinking as Angela was